Alexander Rakic defeats Thiago Santos. Now, it was...
Not the way I expected it to
no,
go.
no, we were expecting two big light heavyweights. I mean, Thiago Santos, number 2 in the rankings. Alexander Rakic, number 4 in the rankings. We were expecting these big, both super explosive stand-up fighters to just have at it. And we saw that Rakic was very tentative of Thiago's power, but knew Thiago has horrible issues with his knees and his legs, so wanted to cripple him with the leg kicks, which worked well. And Santos was very tentative of Alexander Rakic's power since he was coming off a win against Anthony Smith. So it was a matchup that was so underrated and exciting, but didn't deliver to the hype. And I don't...
There was a lot of star power behind it, but there wasn't enough to show. I kind of feel like Thiago Santos hasn't been the same since his loss to Jones.
Although he did look very good, I think he just put himself so much.
Yeah, kind of. Well, he confessed that when he came into the Teixeira fight, he was so scared of what happened after losing both of his ACLs and, come back from a massive injury, and then he lost to Teixeira, so he wanted to put a little bit more on the line. But then again, there's so much more pressure because now we're seeing like heavyweights getting dropped. Overeem and Junior Santos have been cut from the roster, and just kind of there's still all these waves of cuts that are going on right now. It's kind of when you've got 2 losses in a row, you kind of have a few eyes on you, and now you got 3 losses in a row. Kind of got some more.
That is a good point, Joe. That's a really good point. He's now on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, because we talked about how many losses should it be before the UFC is going to be like, okay, come on,
3 or 4,
and that's now Thiago's got eyes on him. So he had to come into the fight, definitely had something to prove. But Alexander's on a winning streak. He's a very he just had it. I feel like he just had more control. He definitely had a little bit more shots taken. I was a little bit more calculating shots, and he was just using a little bit more leg kicks. He had Thiago a lot against the cage, quite a fair bit. He loved to wrestle with him up against the cage. And it just felt like he was just putting a lot more pressure on him. Thiago was kind of hoping to catch him in the counter-strike a few times, but Alex he had all the confidence as well.
I think so, and a little bit more octagon control as well, especially when he would push Thiago. I think most of his success was basically chopping that front leg up and then pushing him up against the cage and keeping him there. To be honest, I didn't see him pushing up the cage incredibly significant. I didn't see him, really throw any shots that were incredibly, important in the fight when it was up against the cage. I feel like it was pretty much it was very weird because we both felt it was an underrated matchup. We were expecting 2 explosive fighters to be out there, not exactly swinging in a phone booth, but absolutely going at it, and it just wasn't the case. It was kind of like the battle of the leg kicks, to be honest.
Yes.
And I believe Rakic just beat Santos. I think he just knew Santos has always had, injuries with his knees, specifically in that John Jones fight, and Rakic edged it out. We know that in that light heavyweight now we've got Glover Teixeira. Now that Jan has beat Israel Adesanya's defender's belt, Glover Teixeira has made his mark, and he will fight Jan next.
Yes.
Rakic.
I reckon he should fight Dominic Reyes next.
Yeah,
because if you think about it, Rakic is now 4th, Glover Teixeira's 3, Dominic's 2, and of course there's Jan. So one's fighting 3, let 2 fight 4. Again, Dominic Reyes coming off a losing streak. You got someone who's coming off a losing streak against someone who's a young star, up and coming. Rakic, 29. Dominic Reyes, 2 losses. Again, something to prove. Give him Rakic as well, because then if Rakic loses, he still stays in that ranking. He just takes the loss, and then he can fight again. But also, if Dominic Reyes wins against Rakic, then perhaps he could be, again, another contender for the light heavyweight title.
We know for certain, that Glover is the next one in line to fight Jan for the belt. They've made it very clear Glover's the next one in line. So now that we know that Glover is in line, who is the person after Glover?
Yeah.
Well, it's not super certain.
Yeah.
There needs to be another title contender fight. It has to be between Dominic Reyes, who was, fought Jan Blachowicz and was KO'd, and then he should now fight Aleksander Rakic for sure.